focus my, memorize things, practice, try to understand, struggle with the language, practice it. So it's me making them do that, and them doing it for over a period of time, and they have the result. Whatever the techniques are, really, just grammar explanation, translation, speaking practice, revision, with translation again, sometime later, new topic. I mean, boring school way, if it's done by an inspired teacher, that this technique, this technology, methodology, though boring, if it's built on this belief that we should do what we want to learn to do, we should do what we want to learn to do. It doesn't matter how I do it, really. If I make my students do what I want them to learn to do, sooner or later they will. It doesn't matter. So really, it's all about personalities, it's all about people, their chemistry, their energy, their belief, their trusting each other, their cooperation, their sharing themselves with each other, and whatever they decide is good between them. It can be pain, it can be I have met dictators, teachers dictators. I have personally known sadists, teacher sadists. They were one of the best teachers I've ever met. They were so good because their students believed them and were ready to do anything because this teacher wants me to do that. And the students were like guinea pigs. They were like cats and dogs in a circus with the teacher telling them, and they've been trained to do things in a certain way, and they did it, and that they were, speaking Russian, looking the teacher into his mouth, ready to do anything. And they loved the teacher, but they experienced pressure from the teacher. Like the teacher always made them study, always made sure that they were perfect. And the students agreed with that. They accepted the rules, and they followed the. They walked the road together, and a year or two later, they knew English perfectly, very well. For their results, they showed were better than the results of other teachers, just because they believed the teacher, and the teacher made them study. And the techniques, well, I don't know. It was all about making them study, making them remember, saying it again, doing it again, until you make it perfect. So, on the one hand, yes, we're angels. We make sure that they immigrate spiritually. It's all about this rosy, romantic stuff. On the other hand, it is about hard work. It's about effort. There is not such a thing as easy English. No, it's impossible. It's just a marketing technique. I mean, it's possible to study English without effort, but you will get the result you will get will be this big. And it's the same as like the gym. They advertise their services to the people. Come to us, work out in our gym. Do it without any effort. It'll be funny without any effort, and we guarantee you your muscles will be this big. It's a lie. If you want, this is what life is all about, and thank you, Lord, that it's the way it is and not any other different way. That if I want to get anything in this life, I have to work. This hard work can be fun. I may be motivated, but sometimes I can hate it. Like a day or two or a week or two. I've been doing it so long, so much. I want to have a break. And then, but I can't live without it. I need it. And like I want it. And the person returns to this hard work. And this hard work brings about the results, and the person grows. His body changes. And so what happens with his mentality, his mental, spiritual body? It changes. He starts thinking in a different way. He starts feeling the language. But this feeling of the language, it comes about, it happens as a result of hard work. And that's why all we have to do is just make sure that they work hard, and that they always have something to aspire to try to reach, try to understand, remember, that they have their goals, and we have to inspire them to do that with our own example. And this process, the whole process must be based on this idea: you do what you want to learn to do. That's it. That's it. You'll be, well, of course there'll be other things necessary for you to be a great teacher, not only that, but these are the core fundamental principles of teaching English, right, in the language, or maybe teaching anything. And it's something that will make you super. So, there are more things I can say, but let's stop here and maybe you have some questions, ladies. Is there anything you want to ask me?
Your speech was very clear, and whereas for me, I don't have any questions regarding your speech.
Maybe I have. It's interesting for me. How did you study English? The way you studied.
Okay. How did I study English? There were several aspects. There were several qualities. I don't know, maybe traits of this aspects of this process of studying English. First, there was initiative. So I never waited for somebody to teach me English. So I started studying English when I was 10, and at that time I hadn't started my English classes at school yet. It was summer, and I knew that I would go to school in September, again, for my 4th grade, so I would start studying English. I knew it before. And at the same summer I found among the books in the library of my relative's place, I found, some divine providence, and put it there, a sheet of paper with an English ABC handwritten on it, like letters and the names of the letters, A, B, C, D, and I found it, and I understood that I want to learn it. I knew that I would have to study it at school, so I found it, and okay, I will learn it. I learned it. Then I asked my mom to get me a Russian-English dictionary. I still remember we found somewhere a Russian-English dictionary this small, and I started I started a notebook, vocabulary, and I started copying the words from the dictionary into my notebook because I wanted to know them. Pen, pencil, started counting. My mom helped me with reading the words, and I learned to count from 1 to 29. Then I had problems with reading the word 30, so I stopped at that. And when I went to school, I already knew certain things in English. Of course, no grammar, no nothing. And I started studying English at school, and everything was easy because on the one hand I knew something, on the other hand I always studied it at home before the lesson. I studied the topic at home, so I came to the class, I knew what I was gonna learn there. So it was like my desire, my own initiative, my own motivation. Nobody made me do that. Then since I found so much passion, so I expressed so much passion for studying English, so we found me a tutor of English, Irina Yevgenievna, if I'm not mistaken, her name was, and she taught me English grammar. But it was a very funny way of teaching, so we sat together at a desk, and she would just explain English grammar, writing something in my notebook. I remember the first day I had a lesson, she wrote 20 pages. It wasn't grammar, it was phonetics. So she was just explaining, writing, giving examples, rules and everything. She was writing and talking. And we did verb to be, present simple, present continuous, all tenses, conditionals, we did everything. Occasionally she would give me some dialogues, like to read, to remember, and everything. But it was all about just listening to lectures. And then one day she would turn to me and say, okay, now let's speak. And I was 14 or something. At the time, I couldn't speak, of course. I didn't have the experience of speaking. I knew some grammar, but because that's what she taught me, but I had no experience, and I couldn't speak. But so she taught me some grammar, and then she helped me find a. She said she wanted me to study English in a specialized school. That's Russian, yeah. So in a school with the extensive and intensive learning of English, and so we got me another tutor of English from that school, and what I did was I learned texts by heart. I had private lessons, and the teacher would give me a text from a boring school textbook, and I read it, we translated it, and I learned it by heart. And she asked me, well, she would ask me like to learn one text by heart. I would learn 2, 3, 4, and when I told them, I just I don't know, did it without any mistakes, without many pauses, just so. And several months later, I understood, oh my God, I can speak. Of course, I learned a lot of words, but I had this experience of speaking, though it wasn't my own speech, but still, when I was speaking, when I was, I don't know, reciting, when I was delivering those ideas, those messages to the teacher, my brain was processing all that information. I was associating myself with that. So that's why I learned to speak. And I thought, oh my God, I can speak. I'm a little bit slow, but oh my, I can do it. And then I started studying English in the school last year, and it was not as interesting as I thought it would be, because I was better than anyone else in the class. And I started living. I started living in the language. I got myself a radio, and I started listening to well, I don't remember, maybe BBC or something. Very bad sound. I had to spend hours like this, sitting in front of the radio, and I recorded those programs. I didn't understand much of what they were talking about, and it was the beginning of '90s, so there was no internet. There was nothing in Ukraine at that time, so no materials. What else did I do? All the books I could find. All the books, I wanted them. I read them, or sometimes I just had them, but it's just like collecting, accumulating some content, something like from their life. Then I met native speakers, Americans. I started communicating with them. I started working for them as an interpreter. Then I went to International House. I studied there for half a year. I spent more time there than half a year. But
studied?
Yes, studied in International House, yeah. And it was more like serious studying, like a real studying. But I was already advanced level student. I was an advanced student. I could speak English freely, because I've been working as an interpreter for native speakers for several years. So I completed the General English course at advanced level, International House, 1997. And they helped me feel the language. They helped me open up, really. The spirit of democracy, of creativity in International House helped me. But what I did was, the greatest thing I did was, I learned lots of words. Like everything I could find, all the text that I had to deal with, I chose the words that I didn't know, and I put them in my notebook, and I learned them. And I remember learning 1,000 words in 1 month, and then 1,000 words in another month, and like a lot of words, a lot of them. And but still, I didn't know much grammar. I spoke English without mistakes. I knew it correctly, but I didn't know why I say it this way. I was a native speaker. For me, English was a part of my life, so I didn't learn it. Of course, I knew some basic grammar rules because I'd been taught. But there were lots of things I didn't know about English grammar. But I used it correctly, well, because I lived with it. Then I started teaching English. And when I started teaching, or actually I had studied English, I had started teaching English before International House. But anyway, that's the distance. We learn by teaching. So I learned a lot about English language when I started teaching it, when I had to explain all these grammar rules, all these things, and to my students, and I learned a lot about it. I've also done lots of things, I've been speaking English, only English, with my elder son. He's 12, and we speak only in English, always, never in Russian. So, and it was hard at the beginning, but it was I was like a bit crazy, yeah, and it was hard at the beginning, and I got used to it, and then I found it so easy. Just only English, no Russian, and it will always be like this. Never. So we've been doing that for such a long time. No, not a chance of changing it. So forever, only English. So he calls me Daddy. Yes. So of course, he's a clever Russian-speaking boy. But well, I can't say his English is perfect. No, far from that. Because I never taught English to him. But still, he understands English very well. So for him, he feels it in a way. And he will be a programmer, and he will know English very well. So when he studies it seriously, to get rid of the mistakes and everything. But anyway, like English has been a part of his life. So this is the things I'm teaching. I've shared with you. It's about me. I didn't learn these things somewhere in books. It's just my own personal experience. Everything that I've told you today, it's my own personal experience. You can make it yours, or you can make a part of it yours, but these are the basic principles. This is how we as humans function. We may find our own ways of expressing ourselves. They will be different, but the fundamentals will always be the same. Like, it's all about life, love, passion, believing, sharing, sacrificing, hardworking, all these things. Without them, it's hard to excel, to succeed in any area. Okay. So I could have answered that question in 30 seconds, but I decided to take it longer. Yeah. Okay, something else? Did I question for you?
One more for me.
Okay.
Can I?
Sure. Okay, absolutely.
Some people say that you won't be a good teacher of English if you don't live in an English environment. So what do you think of it?
Well, I think I have already answered the question. You don't have to live in an English environment in America. No, I partly agree with that, okay? You can't, but it doesn't mean that this English-speaking environment should be in America. That's the point. You don't have to. That's actually to sum it up, this is my point. Learning English is about creating an English-speaking environment where you are. It's possible to live here in Kharkov and live in an English-speaking environment.
Oh.
To create this environment for yourself.
I mean, I heard some people say that, oh my God, you have never been in England, how can you be